Hi, good morning, Web Summit. Welcome to the State of Gaming. And I'm Teri, the host for this. I'm the co-founder of Vibely, and we were just acquired by Kajabi, announced yesterday. So I will be, thank you. I will be interviewing some of the coolest people that you'll meet at Web Summit. We have Brian, who is otherwise known as Terroriser on YouTube, with over 7, going on 8 million subscribers.
In, I guess, different groups, I guess. On my one, I think it's just under 4 million subs on my main channel.
Awesome. And then we also have Niki Nihachu. She is one of the largest Twitch streamers, and she's also known for her lifestyle and gaming content. And you mostly play Minecraft and Sims 4, is that right?
Yeah, and just chatting. Yeah.
Very cool. So before we get into it, I heard, Brian, that you're a very good impressionist.
Oh, you're gonna start it already?
He's known for his impressions, and apparently can do a really good one of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that's like the worst setup for an impression ever. So, look, listen, I don't know what, I was living in Dublin, renting a house while in college, and during the game of Call of Duty, there was, I don't know why I did it, I just started going like, and I started doing that, my best friends were laughing, and I was like, oh, I think I can actually do somewhat of an impression. But in my family, there's always been impersonators, but normally like Eamon Dunphy, Roy Keane, stuff like that, Irish kind of characters. And so I started kind of doing it, but more in the video gamey world of voices. So yeah, I'm not going to do it now because it's really awkward in front of a bunch of strangers. But I always just impulsively do it. I don't think too much about the impressions. I just go. It's more when I'm recording and in the moment.
All right.
I can't believe you set me up to do that. We'll see it
maybe later. Let's see if you're feeling it later.
Yeah, maybe.
And Niki, one of the most Googled things about you is actually your height. I guess everyone is wondering how tall you are.
How tall am I?
So I think
Oh,
you
you
need to
get that
debunk
too?
that.
You get that as
I get
well?
that too. Everyone thinks I'm 4'11".
You're 4'11"?
Wow,
Because I'm a
4'11".
leprechaun.
Oh my god.
So how tall are you, Niki?
I am 5'6".
5'6".
Yeah.
All right, so you heard it here.
So
she is 5'6".
I'm 5'6". You don't have to
So,
keep Googling it.
biggest
I think it
takeaway,
is
huh?
because people just think I'm shorter than I actually am. I hear that a lot when I meet people. They're like, oh, you're actually taller than I think
Yeah,
you
you're
are."
pretty tall. I wonder why
Yeah.
everyone's so
Yeah.
obsessed with that. Interesting.
And can people stop changing my Wikipedia to back to 4'11"?
Yeah.
I actually have people who change it to 6 foot, and other people who
Wow.
change it back to 4'11".
4'11" is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into your backgrounds here. So for those of us that don't quite know you guys yet, tell us your backstory and like how you became a creator. We're all kind of wondering this origin story of yours. So Brian, if you want to kick us off? Or
Ladies first.
Ladies first. All right, Niki.
My backstory. So I've been doing this for 4 years now, and 3 years as a job. I basically just needed something to do, and I started streaming myself. I first did it just to my friends, and then I decided to move over to Twitch because the channel where you can stream in, it was too many people, so I was like, I'll just do it on Twitch. And then other people started watching me, and I actually got the first push in following through a show that I did on Twitch called the Lover Host, which is like a big show hosted by one of the big streamers, and I was on there, and that's how I got my first big following. Yeah.
Amazing. And Brian?
Yeah, how I got started?
Yes.
I was in Kevin Street DIT in Dublin. I was living for the first time not in the countryside of Meath in Ireland. So it was the first time I actually got broadband internet. And this whole new world, I was watching my friend Kevin, who I was renting a house with. He opened up this laptop and these machinima gaming videos came up, which is really old. I started like 10 years ago, so I think that just saying machinima makes people realize how old I've been, long doing this. Kevin was watching these videos and I was just watching over his shoulder and I said, I could do that. I could do those videos like them. Actually, I could do that better. And just pure ego between myself and himself, I just did it like a little bet between him and I. and I just started making videos, and I was like, actually, this is actually a lot of fun. It was just a hobby. I was working in a nightclub and also putting myself through college, and whenever I had time, I'd make videos on a really old Dell Inspiron laptop that nearly exploded when I'd render a video, like it was so old. And yeah, I just kept doing it, and then slowly over the space of a year, I started accumulating more subscribers. It was not something that happened overnight. I just kept doing it because I was creative. I was in a college course that I did not care about. I was only in a college course for the sake of, I felt in my life I needed to be in college because that's the next step in my, the next chapter of life.
Right.
And then I started realizing I was really into it. I was creative. I was able to do voices and do stuff like you're saying, and it just fulfilled that itch that I needed outside of work and like the boring nature of my college course. And yeah, just kept growing and growing. Then I went into another college course. And I dropped out when my lecturer told me to, because he said, your YouTube is doing probably better than, financially, than your next 5 years in this degree. And so he gave me the kick of saying, you can do it. And so I dropped out of the second college course. So it all started on a little dare between me and my friend Kevin. And I thanked him years later. I said, thank you for doing that, because you actually pushed me on to do something that I wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Without that.
So along the way, did you start realizing that you could build a following and that you could be successful in content creation, or when was the moment that you felt that way?
I don't think there was ever one moment. There was a group that I used to watch when I was talking about watching my friend watching those videos. There's one group in particular that I really loved, and then I found myself a year later. Actually, they asked me to join their group, and they were really big on YouTube, and they asked me to join, and then used to get like emails per subscription, and my email just like blew up of people subscribing. And then as I was doing that, I was like, oh my god, I actually could maybe do this. When it was like you'd refresh and there'd be 10 more subs, refresh 10 more subs, refresh 20 more subs. And yeah, it was around then I thought, this is feasible, this is possible, maybe I'll do it. And I just kept doing it, and it kept getting bigger and bigger.
Super exciting. Nikki, how about you? When did you start feeling like this could really become a career or a...
So I feel like both of us have a very different way of how we got big, because his was very gradual and mine was very overnight. For me, I was struggling with my rent, I was struggling with getting food. I was 17 at the time and had moved out of my parents' place, so I had to do like odd jobs and everything. When I got my first paycheck from Twitch and I realized I could afford my groceries, I then thought to myself, I could do this. This can be a job. This can be something I can do. And I think, that's how it for me, it happened very quickly.
So tell us about that moment when you started seeing, like the overnight that you experienced. Can you tell us about that?
How it was?
Yeah.
Very overwhelming. I don't think I still to this day have processed it fully, because I remember waking up and my phone just exploding. I guess that's the same with the emails, where you just see this person followed you, and then 10 more people followed you, and then 100 people followed you. And I remember waking up, I went to bed with my follower count of 300 followers. I woke up to 15,000.
Incredible.
And I still don't know how that happened.
How did you feel in that moment when you saw the 15,000?
I don't know. I remember I got up and I went to school, like every other day.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to know about the life of a creator. There's so much glitz and glamour with what we know from the front side of the creators today, but what is really happening kind of behind the scenes? Can you tell us a little bit about any kind of challenges that you have encountered, whether that's burnout or anything of the sort?
Yeah, I did it for, I think it was up until like 2016. So let's say the first 5 years I was doing everything all myself, recording, video editing, the social media aspect, dealing with emails, what little few brand deals I got back then as I started to grow my following. It was all just on me, and the burnout aspect really kicked in, like, I'd say 2016, where I was doing my second college course and trying to juggle everything, and I thought YouTube changes in such a way that it used to be shorter videos were great, then it started getting longer, and then also you need to upload daily because the algorithm will dictate whether you're going to keep growing or not. So you needed to maintain this fluidity of constant content pushed out, like on a conveyor belt, constantly pushed out.
Yeah.
And me trying to juggle my personal life, my college life, YouTube and other things, it was just getting to a point where I didn't think I was going to be able to do this properly. But then luckily I was able to hire an editor, and that was huge for me because that was also really scary that to hand over something like a video and hand over creative control to someone else. But luckily it was a person that I was very close with when I first started YouTube. He was starting off YouTube around the same time, and I guess he didn't continue on doing the video and stuff. He started work for FedEx and delivering stuff, but he knows me since I started doing YouTube. So I knew he understood my creativity and my type of editing, and I hired him on the spot, and we're still working together today. He's my main editor, and that was the best thing that I could do, is being willing to bring other people in to create what can be a company. Because in the video gaming thing, it was like, oh, it's just video games. You're just making, you're just making something, but you're actually making a product.
Right.
You're putting out a product. There needs to be some kind of structure, and it's hard for people to realize you can't do everything on your own.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it got to a point where I was just getting so exhausted. I couldn't enjoy life. I couldn't socialize. I was not going out with my friends during college, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And working with my American friends in an Irish time zone, I was up till like 5 in the morning recording videos, getting up 3 hours later for college. It was just horrible. So the best thing I did was being willing to bring other people in to, make a team.
Right, and really building out that business beyond just,
growing up, basically,
Yeah.
is what I started to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. How about you, Nikki?
I think with Twitch, a big part of Twitch is the more you're live, the more you're actually actively live streaming yourself, the better it is for your career. So the platform depends on and your growth, and your seeing your improvement and your work depends on how much you are live.
Yeah.
Which means that sometimes I would be live 10 hours a day, and I would still have to also edit my YouTube video, upload my YouTube video, do my social media, be active on all my other social medias. And I think earlier this year, I realized that that's just not a way to live. So I cut down my hours of streaming quite a lot, and focused more on doing what I enjoy, or doing, focusing on other platforms. But yeah, that was very tough, having to be live 10 hours a day, every day.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about this relationship that you have with algorithms, because we all know, algorithms can be quite powerful, but they also can be quite the dumps sometimes. Tell us about how you felt about it and how you balanced that relationship.
I don't think it's balanced. I think it's very much you're kind of victim to the system, and you have to either conform, or there's going to be someone else to replace that void.
Yeah.
Which is the realistic, I guess, nature of it. So I try to. I don't want to be victim to a system of I have to change my video structure, my comedy structure, my video structure to appease this algorithm. I'm probably not the most professional or best example of someone. There's other people that are more willing to kind of be manipulated by it, but that's just never been my nature. It's not me. So I try and appease it as best as possible, but maintaining what I want to do and what kind of content I want to put out there, because I know algorithm does a lot, but if people really connect with you and enjoys you, the people who follow you on Twitter and other social media platforms they're not going to be dictated by the YouTube algorithm. There's different algorithms trying to fight each other, I guess.
Yeah.
So as long as you grow your social presence, people will always find your product or content
So
regardless.
diversifying,
Completely spread it out.
Yeah.
Try and maintain a strong hold on as many social media platforms, because it's not like there's one algorithm that dictates all the other ones.
Right.
So as long as you keep on top of all of them, you don't have to be victim to one algorithm.
Right. And that's actually the reason why I was so excited to join forces with Kajabi, which is one of the leading creator monetization platforms. They help people monetize courses, coaching, memberships, community even. And in this world, you kind of own your own destiny, and you have your own terms, and you're not kind of at the wind of the algorithms. Have you guys ever started anything like that, or considered doing anything like that?
Sorry, I couldn't understand the question.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Yeah,
loud
it's
out there,
very
isn't
hard
it?
to hear.
Have you ever thought about doing any kind of monetization around like courses, community, podcasts? I'm sure you have your own
An
Discord
insight platform.
servers.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I started on Twitch and then I moved over to YouTube, and I still do both, but I moved over to that, and then through that, you can kind of. Sorry, I'm getting very distracted.
No worries. Yeah, I know it's really loud out there.
Yeah, so I think it's very important to branch out and to use your audience kind of on all fields. And
Right, like
yeah.
diversifying. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, great. And then tell us about kind of the different games that you're noticing as like the hottest games right now, since we're here for the State of Game.
Keeps changing every single week. Now I'm guessing it's Call of Duty with Warzone.
Call of Duty.
Everyone's really expecting the next Warzone to be great. I was never really into it. Last big thing I was really into was PUBG. That was my thing in H1Z1.
Is PUBG still popular?
To me it is, but not on Twitch maybe. Fortnite was like one of the big, massive, I think, where the industry really took notice of like, the terminology dead game is a big thing, where certain games have a certain lifespan, and the fact that people will still say that Fortnite is a dead game is mind-blowing, considering how many people still play and still watch it. It changes. Like every single month there's going to be a new game that's the next big thing, and unfortunately I feel there's been a development in a mindset of people that are trying to be streamers, trying to be content creators, that they're waiting for the next game, which is going to be a tidal wave, and they want to be at the very beginning of that wave and become the next face of whatever platform they're aiming for. And to me, that's not really a healthy way to do it, because you're constantly on edge, waiting to do it. And when you're younger and you're full of energy, that's great, knock yourself out. But
Yeah.
an old fox that I am now, I can see it can really drive you insane of trying to get in on what's going to be deemed the next big game. I think free-to-play games is the big thing, the big model, which means the gaming industry is only going to be more accessible to a lot more people. So the gaming industry is just going to constantly keep growing. Free-to-play games as a model, people buying stuff in-game, is just the best way for companies to monetize their game and get more people in it. And also access to the internet is just getting insane. Trust me, a person from Ireland, if you didn't live in the city, you didn't have the internet for the longest time. Now it's getting to a point where I went back to see my mom recently in the middle of nowhere. She's got better upload and download speeds of internet than me in America. And it's absolutely mind-blowing to me. So it's more accessible. Video games are just becoming way too accessible. And I think it's just going to constantly keep growing. And these games are going to be coming out ridiculously. And I can just see more and more people waiting to get on to the next big game.
The next big thing. That's right. What about you, Nikki?
I think one thing that you said about people wanting to be part of the wave of the very next big game is also what happens when that game doesn't have as much popularity anymore. And you should not focus on only building your audience and yourself up on one game, more so on your personality. I think that's a very important thing to think about.
Very true. I don't think a lot of people think about that. When you kind of build yourself on one game, these people said, I subscribed for this.
Right.
And regardless of the algorithm dictating what you should do, you can also develop an audience that will try and dictate what you do. And that's not a way that you should live on the internet, trying to, like, I haven't had people say this to me. I've seen people threatening people online saying, you're nothing without us. And I'm like, wow. You don't want it to get to that point. You want to be able to, I'm blessed that I have a group of incredible friends that our audience have established a rapport for our group of friends. They don't care what we play. They just want to see our group of friends play games together, which is the best thing that I'm so blessed to have that.
Yeah.
But I've seen, as an observer on the internet, I see where people become victim to putting all the eggs in the one basket of playing one game and that's it. You're not allowed to play anything else. So I think that's actually a
Yeah.
really, really important point.
That's a
that
good point. What if
people
you're
don't
only
pick
good
up.
at one game? Doesn't that happen?
No.
No, if you're good at one
Yeah.
game, you're good at many games.
No, I think some people just enjoy being good at a game and they're afraid to try something
Right.
else in case they're not as good.
Right, right.
Because everyone thinks, oh, you have to be good at games for me to like you. You can be good at games, you can be entertaining, you can be really funny, there's not just one thing that you need to be successful on
Right.
the internet. It's a blank canvas. You can just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's right. Niki, what have you felt has really drawn your audience to you? Because obviously you play multiple games as well. Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry.
I know, I can barely hear you too. Okay, what do you feel like has drawn your audience to you beyond just like your gameplay?
I have a very majority young female audience, so it's a lot of teenage girls.
Interesting.
And I think because I started so young and because I am also a woman, people can relate to me very well. I try to talk about mental health a lot. I try to talk about what it's like to be a girl growing up on the internet a lot.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that a lot of my audience can relate to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's why you're starting to create more lifestyle content as
Yeah,
well, right?
exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I love gaming and I love doing gaming content, but I feel like you can only do so much while playing a video game, and I think I just really want to show people my life and what my life as a streamer, but also as a woman is like.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying to do a lot of lifestyle content as well now.
Awesome. All right, so one other question for you. In terms of the trends that you're seeing in gaming right now, there's kind of hot topics like blockchain gaming. Is there anything that you noticed that is more trending in the gaming space? It doesn't have to be blockchain, obviously, because if you're lucky that you just gaming.
Blockchain?
Yeah.
That's trending?
Some people think that that's trending, so obviously not.
I hope not. I'm missing out. What do I notice is trending?
Yeah, like have you noticed any trends in gaming that have been standing out to you?
No, nothing that stands out. There's always going to be trends in every single thing. Gaming is, there was the Battle Royale trend of a lot of games were pumping them out and then they became old news. Like I'm saying, things are going to be popular one week and then not the other. Trends in gaming, no. It's just there's so much diversity now in gaming that I don't think there's like one trend.
I think that's a good trend. The diversity. We're starting to get more diversity in video games, in people playing video games.
Yeah, instead of there just because like there was that battle royale wave of every single game had to be that. Now there is a huge spreading out of different types of games that people are, which is I think is better.
Right.
It appeals to a lot more people's interests. So I've probably given you a very boring answer. I actually don't think I've seen trends of late. None that are really bad or really interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be trends. It's probably the most boring answer the Web Summit's ever going to hear.
No worries.
But there's
Niki,
not.
do you want to expand on the diversity point?
I mean, again, as talking from the standpoint of a girl, we have a lot more female protagonists, for example, in story games, or we have. Well, it used to only be like a certain body type for girls in video games for characters, and I think we are currently starting to expand on that as well. We have a lot more people who play who are girls. We have a lot more people who talk about it who are girls, and I think that's a
Girl power.
good trend.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. For everyone who is looking for them, find them on Nihachu on YouTube and Terroriser.
I wish I picked a better name when I started doing YouTube. I swear.
But thank you very much for sharing your story.
Thank you very
today.
much.
All right.